All right, call to order our regular board meeting of the Park District Board of Commissioners, October 21st at 7 o'clock. Please call the roll.
Larson.
Here.
Bell. Here. Druin. Here. Slater. Absent. Tillman.
Here, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pray it be true.
All right, any items to be added, removed, or changed?
They're not.
Lovely. Entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. Approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting for September 29th. Approval of paid expenditures, approval of expense approval report, investment summary, income statement, purchases, and review of the Windmill City Festival financial summary.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Larson. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Druin. Aye. Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as established.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Larson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, guest matters from the public. Item 7, matters from commissioners. What y'all got?
I don't have anything today.
No.
Nothing?
No, not today.
Okie dokie.
How about you?
I got nothing.
Thank you, sir.
Correspondence, which we have none either. This is just, we're just blazing through this today.
Callahan would be very proud of you.
Yes.
Just
Put makeup on.
All right, item number 9, Batavia Parks Foundation.
She's like,
That's me.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
We're proud to bring you this stand. Stand. Oh,
Thank you.
Lovely.
stand is on the list.
I'll get my picture in. Well, thanks for having me. I feel honored. It's nice to be on the foundation board. I just want to especially thank the Batavia Park Board for soliciting and coming up with membership for the foundation. And a year ago, as I told you, we were kind of bouncing off of the bottom, but you really came up with some dynamic members, and they have really risen to the occasion. I wish I was here to announce some special project or some tremendous gathering of monies for this year, but it's been a year of structuring and looking forward to projects that we are excited about in cooperation with the Park District in doing the good things that you do every day. I think it really was a difficult year to find a way forward. We had a very dynamic leader in the foundation and very, very deep roots. Katie O'Brien has done a great job of rising to the occasion and putting a group together that was brought from far corners of Batavia. And she's done that well. And so we are excited about the coming year, and I hope next year to come with some exciting accomplishments. Currently, our focus is on bike racks. That might sound a little mundane, but when we go to the ball fields or the various parks, it is kind of surprising that the many youth that show up on bikes are just lashing their bike to a tree or laying them down on the ground or whatever. We feel it's a nice project to complement the many, many beautiful parks in Batavia, and something that will be recognized by a lot of the public and recognized by the youth, which is always a challenge for a board to get down to the youth, get down to younger people, and of course that's where our future is, and that's where the foundation sees success. I want to give special thanks to the maintenance crew because they really dressed up our project down at the Peace Garden. And that was looking good, and many had done a good job artistically putting that together and getting the critters to draw on the rocks and all that good stuff. But it was what I'd call kind of loosey-goosey. And the maintenance crew came in and unified it and retained or enhanced the artistry of it and made it permanent so you could use a leaf blower over it without rearranging the rocks or flipping them over or whatever. And it just looks so much better. And of course, you know, it just lacked professionalism, which the maintenance crew brought. And so that's good. It's a nice project. It was something the foundation was proud of, but the result was short. Well, now it's long. So pleased for that. And they made it durable and aesthetically pleasing, so that's all good. So I guess my word and my dream and my work for the coming year is that better days are ahead. Because I really wish I was coming here with some exciting cash dollar values and some projects, but I do not have that. Thank you.
But you do have the project of the bike racks that you're thinking about, right? Do you have any visions about what that's gonna look like? What type of bike racks are gonna be, or it just,
We
or are you gonna
presented-
do that after you do some, what is your?
I have not seen that. The ladies, I feel like I'm in minority there. The ladies are very excited that they've got some plans that they like. I've sent them photographs of what I've seen in various cities, but no, I have not seen what the latest proposal was. Allison, have you heard? I know we were hopeful, and I was going to personally advance some money so we could make it happen in November. Was there a decision on that, and have you been addressed as to what that might include?
Yep,
Please.
in fact, our facilities and trades team has been working with the foundation, with Lindsay Redmond on the foundation in terms of the dimensions for the bike racks and the locations. In fact, Josh, do you want to talk about which park was identified?
Yeah, actually, we're Prairie Path Park. I wanted to say Latham so bad. So 3P.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we identified a spot within the playground area that we can add a slab and about a 15-foot slab by 15 by 5. So
That's what I was gonna ask, do we need to like bury a slab?
we will have to create a slab for it.
Okay, so in whatever parks we put them in, we'll just be able
Yep.
to do that. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Is it
Yeah.
being piloted with like a handful to start kind of thing, or are we identifying that it makes more sense at certain parks and it doesn't on others?
Ooh, no.
So we've actually, staff has been, I've asked them to inventory which parks need, have the most need based on fields, based on popularity, usage, the community needs assessment, and so then Josh and Jim have identified those areas.
We have about 10 parks we identified as places where we could use them. So
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be some kind of way, like, sponsorship, so like people, when they can buy one, and then they have their name on it, kind of thing, is that part of it?
That's the plan.
Well, they can now, that's good.
Today's the day.
People love having
Take
their
your
name on
money.
stuff. Look, there we are.
That is the plan, with some credit given to the donor, on the object. And it's a nice object that you can do all of that with, and something that's appreciated. I think there's also a fork in the road in the future where there's places downtown where you don't need a 10-foot long rack for eight bicycles, but one or two would be good. And in that way, in that instance, we'll be using more of an artistically pleasing arrangement. So we hope to have quantity at the ballparks and the critters parks, but something more aesthetic in downtown areas where we also need places to bicycle.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It is a biking town.
It is.
I mean,
That's
quite
why I'm
a few
really
years.
excited
So,
about that.
yeah, I'll be
Good.
fine.
Bike rack.
too, so this will help to cut down on that.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, it's safety too. I mean, when critters
Yeah.
lay their bikes down on the sidewalk or something, people can trip.
Yep, yep.
Well, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
I'll stay with
All right.
Screw that up.
Get it right.
Item number 10A, Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan. We have Mike Triglaff, right?
Mark.
Mark, I got the last name right.
Do you need
And the
markers?
first
Could be a twin brother, but.
Yeah, Mark Triglaff. I was so focused on getting Trig and Laugh right.
Well, Allison was already practicing that one.
Yeah.
And I said trigonometry and laugh, ha ha.
Yeah.
So trig laugh, that's
And I
what it
messed
was,
up the
right?
first name.
Way to do it, so. Well, good, back again. So this is just kind of give you a little bit of overview of kind of the finding, and Allison is my clicker. So if she could go to the next slide. And you kind of talk, just a little bit of my background again. So I kind of went over that before at the original board meeting. So if you want to go ahead. And I just wanted to point out again, kind of this is a requirement under the ADA since the ADA was signed back in 1990. So Title II, state and local governments, which is what you come under, so that's a requirement for doing a transition plan. And that's looking both at kind of the physical accessibility as well as policy and procedures. Now I'll give you kind of a little bit of overview on that as well. So if you remember this picture, this is one from Woodridge Park in Woodridge. And it was a dad and his daughter that was able to play on a playground that I had worked on. And it's a kind of more universally designed one that we were kind of talking about. And so that was one that he had not been able to play with her on a playground before, and she was 12 years old. So that's kind of the whole idea when we think about accessibility for a park district in that. So I'm just going to focus on the priorities related to what is a 1, 2, 3, 4 priority. And I actually have some examples from the parks as I had gone through as we were evaluating them. So priority 1 is really kind of the highest priority for getting something done. And that's something that comes from the Access Board and the Department of Justice. So you can kind of see there's the 4 different levels. It's kind of like priority 1 is like from your accessible parking walkway and up, say, to a playground, up to a building. They consider that the highest priority for getting done. Second priority is like once you're in a building or once you're on a playground, picnic shelter, that would be a second highest priority. Third is like restrooms, locker rooms, and fourth is kind of miscellaneous thing like a code hook's too high. Is that really going to be that critical for somebody to participate in program activity? Not really, but it is part of the code. So it's kind of like one of those things that when you got to it, that would be great, you know. But again, it's kind of helping to, you know, keep Josh on track in order to get these things done. And you know, he already calls me a lot, so I just want to tell you that already. I think I'm on speed dial.
Yeah.
So those are the things that it just kind of help from a planning standpoint, and especially budgeting as you're looking at your SRA money in order how to spend it and what would be a higher priority to get done. It just kind of helps the staff related to planning that. So if you want to, the next slide. So priority 1, so this is kind of in Laurel Park. So the accessible parking there, you can see it was very worn, the asphalt's kind of breaking up. And some of those have kind of a safety aspect as well as accessibility. So say if somebody has a lift or a platform coming out of their van, with it being uneven, that could, if it's like a lift, it could tip and that person could tip off of that. So that's kind of a safety aspect and kind of important aspect of making sure you got a very solid surface, well striped, a parking sign and the fine sign in front of the parking space. Those are all requirements from the code. The other is the abrupt transition that's right at the West Main Community Park. And that is kind of like the concrete is just kind of settled a little bit. And if it's more than 3/4 of an inch, that's out of code. And the example for that I always use, it happened in Atlanta, and it was caught on a security camera. There was an older woman who was walking down the sidewalk, and it had settled a little bit. She tripped, fell, didn't get her hands in front of her quick enough. It hit her head and actually died from her head injury. It was caught on a security camera from a business that she was walking in front of. So that's why I kind of always put that as a very high priority, just wherever I see that, just because there could be injuries that happen from something like that. Okay. And then second would be kind of like I said, once you got onto the picnic shelter, once you got on the playground. So like at Bennett Park there is a requirement now related to the Illinois Accessibility Code for what they call outdoor developed areas. So that's picnic tables, benches, grills, and so that's something that's newer, a newer revision of the code. So those are things that in the original review that we did years ago, we always put it as a recommendation, and I would say Batavia is ahead of the curve definitely for that. So because I think that information was in a proposed standard at that point, that's something that already has been started to be taken care of years ago before now it's become a requirement. So you're definitely ahead of the curve on that. And then just kind of maintaining the surfaces on playground. Unfortunately, engineered wood fiber, you get kids playing on it, it's going to be an inaccessible surface pretty quick. So it's just kind of making sure that's constantly maintained and making that surface as even as possible. So say if like a child on a wheelchair wanted to transfer onto that, the spinner there, that could be hard because the surface has been kind of worn away from kids dragging their feet. So it could be something that either maintaining that or maybe putting a mat under that so that any kids that drag their feet, it's not going to make that surface uneven. So those are some suggestions that would be in the transition plan. Okay. Third is just kind of within typically restrooms and that. Some are very easy fixes, like in Peg Bottom Center, the trash can is right by the sink, so that kind of interferes with somebody if they were in a wheelchair to pull up to it. So it's just kind of making sure that the janitorial staff or staff make sure it's out of that, kind of what they call the clear floor space. The other is like in Kemp Hall, it's just some of the grab bars, the sizing is not correct. Also where the toilet paper dispenser is, it's a little too far away from the toilet. So if you think of somebody that can't move or stand up, if they have to reach too far, somebody could actually fall off the toilet, and I don't think you want that. So just kind of making sure the location of some of those things. Okay, next one. And then 4, like I said, is kind of the lower priorities, but they are part of the code. So drinking fountains, there's a requirement for high-low drinking fountains. One is for a wheelchair height. Another is what they call a standing height for people with bad backs, so they don't have to bend down as far in order to get a drink. And then like at the lodge, you get the coat rack, but it could be out of the reach range for somebody in a wheelchair to be able to reach, or a shorter adult. So it could be very simple as just going to Home Depot, getting a couple of coat hooks that you screw onto the side of that at a retrain height, and you're good to go. So something that's probably quick and easy. A lot of times people like to do that one first because it's quick and easy to do, but that is a lower priority compared to some of those other things. Okay, so that's kind of what the plan, transition plan looks like. So if you ever wanted to look at some of the park reports, this is basically what you would see: a photograph, a description of what the barrier is, the code reference. It's either the ADA Accessibility Guidelines, ADAG, or IAC, the Illinois Accessibility Codes. Those are the 2 codes that are required to be reviewed in the state of Illinois. And then a solution, usually if possible, maybe give a couple of different solutions or ideas, the priority, and then projected costs. The thing is, at this point, is kind of determining different dates for estimating for when these might get removed. And Department of Justice won't give you an idea of how long that is, but I had an opportunity to talk to John Wudash, who used to be the head of DOJ, the ADA enforcement, and he said from their perspective, 7 to 9 years is what they would recommend as reasonable time frame for making those changes. So those are just some of the planning tools. You might have the opportunity that a grant comes up and you could take care of something sooner than later. So, those are always things that you can always, it's a living document, so it's something that could get always moved around or changed as needed. Okay, next. So also too, besides the physical aspect, we talked about policy and procedures, and Batavia already had many of these already in place, so it's just kind of a little tweaking on some of the things. So people can use these as a mobility device, and so there's reasons to have restrictions on that. You don't want a golf cart going up and down your walkways in your park, or segways can go extremely fast, so maybe you want to have a speed requirement for that. Disney does something like that, where they have actually 2 switches on it. One is a rabbit speed, is a picture of a rabbit, the other is a turtle speed, which is a walking speed. And that would be what you would require, because you don't want them running into anybody that's on the walkway in that. Next. And then also too, like service animals is another area that is covered. So that actually is now just dogs and miniature horses. So years ago I worked at Brookfield Zoo and I was the access coordinator for people with disabilities, and I always got calls related to this. And this was before the ADA, and I got a call and there was a guy with an 8-foot boa constrictor. That was his therapy animal at that point. And it's like, you know, all I could say at that point is like, please be careful, tell them you're not a keeper, this is not a zoo animal. So that was his comfort animal for him. So now that's restricted to only dogs and miniature horses, so just so you know that. So in case you see anybody with a snake or
I
something.
read that, and there's actual dimensions that are for the horse.
Yeah.
In there, and I
Josh, do you have a plan to make our parks tiny horse?
Little Sebastian.
Sebastian safe?
Put a little stable, ADA compliant stable.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's just gonna be such a fun.
You couldn't wait for a while.
First birthday.
Right.
Now years ago, I did work at Brookfield Zoo during the summer, and I was a keeper for one summer. And I did work with the miniature horses, and I gotta say, they're not rocket scientists, so I'm not sure how well they work. The one thing is they live for over 20 years, where a service dog is like 6 to 8 years. It's kind of like max. So it's kind of like you're replacing the dogs quite often. That's kind of, but there's not that many people that have the miniature horses. So I've only seen one that I saw down at a conference with National Federation for the Blind. So. Okay, and then grievance procedure, this is something that in case there was somebody that had a concern or, you know, a complaint related to accessibility, the whole idea of this form is really to try to keep it out of the legal process, is trying to get the information here at the park district so that you can give an answer to that person very quickly. One of the things that this kind of came up when they revised the ADA was that a lot of people, if they had a complaint, they'd get kind of bounced around and never got a response back to their concern or complaint. So this is just trying to take this and take care of it, you know, beforehand, so you don't kind of get lawyers involved or the courts and things like that. So basically, any kind of lawsuit that happens, individuals can sue, but also the state's attorney's office and Department of Justice. So those are 3 different ways potentially the park district could get sued. So again, we're trying to keep you, lawyers are friends to a point. In this case, you don't want them involved.
They are, okay.
I figured there was a lawyer there. That's what I said, to a point. Yeah, I'll let you know, I've been involved in 20 court cases, so I'm kind of familiar with that process. So I've seen the good side, I've seen not so good side too. So anyway, so that's it. And then next slide. So that's just my contact information. Josh has that. If you want to call me, talk to Josh, he'll call me. So I think that's the whole thing. So I don't know if you have any questions for that.
I don't have any questions. I do know that we routinely, you'll see when we get into the budgeting, we routinely have ADA stuff throughout the year. And, you know, I appreciate you coming in and refreshing that list. And I know you work with Josh all the time, but for the new board members, you'll see during the budgeting, there is an ADA section that there's always some ADA things going on that come from, in part, from this list of things and from works.
From a legal standpoint, what it does, it provides what they call a good faith effort. So you understand your responsibility and you're chipping away at it every year to, you know.
Yeah, things here and there. And sometimes when we do like a parking lot redo, it like knocks out a couple things from that as well, you know.
Every project we do, we take a look and make sure that we're hitting what was on this plan.
Do we have like the grievance form thing as part of, is that something we already do? Like, so the public could like contact us and be like, hey, it's not ADA compliant at this park. Do we already have something like that in place?
We do.
Okay.
Padermo. Got it for us. But I do want to make mention that every single teammate here is a part of the ADA experience. So, you know, we've got safety committee members that are always on the lookout. We've got Brittany's actually our ADA coordinator for recreation programming. So if there is someone that needs an inclusion aid, therapeutic recreation aid, you know, she is the one who does the outreach. Brittany and I are both on the Fox Valley Special Recreation Association board. But every single person here you know, especially, you know, Kim and Alex out in the parks, they're always ordering the safety mulch, they're measuring to make sure that the mulch is a certain height within the playground. So really everyone here, all hands on deck when it comes to safety. It's in our mission and we really take it seriously. But I just wanted to make mention because Josh is the primary point for Mark. But
Takes a team though.
it does, it's a village for sure.
He calls me at like 3 o'clock in the morning and says,
Yeah.
Just to chat, you know, just to chat.
I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, thinking about ADA, how you doing?
Thinking about mulch height?
Yeah, it sounds like Josh.
And Lynn will be the first one that takes the information from someone that has a, you know, ADA complaint or, you know, wants to file something. So yeah, everyone here is completely invested and we really appreciate, Mark just came to our all staff meeting that we just had last month or actually it was earlier this month. What a long month.
Yeah.
Not over yet.
Yep,
And
still
Mark
got a
was
few
great.
more.
He gave staff a thorough training and really everybody's on board.
I think it's good because, you know, like I said, like we were kind of talking about, you know, somebody might say something to someone out in the field or, you know, as receptionist or whatever. And because they have a little bit of knowledge, at least they know, you know, kind of what the next steps are. Because you want to make sure you stay on top of that and, you know, take care of whatever issue there might be that somebody has. Or they can at least get a response back.
Any questions? Awesome, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Safe travels to Ukraine.
yeah. A week from today, I go to Ukraine.
Oh, safe travels.
So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, there's a time zone difference, so.
Mark, did you-
Yeah,
you guys be
yeah.
good?
I'll be calling at 3 in the morning, you're gonna have to
What's
work
3 in the
out.
morning in Ukraine?
It's 8 hours different, so let's see, that'd be like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'd be okay with that, John.
Perfect,
Yeah, if you're up then.
Yeah, I called him at 7 in the morning the other day.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. All right, item 10B, annual operations report for the Hall Quarry Beach 2025 season. Ding, 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 ding.
Come on up.
All right, I hope you are all just as eager as I am to dive into the 2025.
I knew, yeah.
You run for money.
Yes.
I feel like Brent now.
So, some of the content that we're going to be going over in this report is to first start with our staff listing, then we'll move on to kind of just a summary of the season as a whole. Then we're going to go down to membership, pass sales, as well as daily admission and group admission. We're going to look into the future at some of our upcoming special events. We're going to touch base on personnel and how we did with our Star Guard Elite Aquatic audits. Then we'll do a little bit of the swim lessons before we pass it over to Katie for marketing and promotions. We first just want to start by saying a big thank you to all of the staff listed below. I truly believe it takes the collaboration and support of all of the departments listed and all of their hardworking staff to have a smooth running facility year round and just to have a positive experience for the community involved.
As well as our park board.
Oh, and a big thank you to our park board for supporting. Thank you so much. To start with our summary of the season, the quarry kicked off on Saturday, May 24th, and we had our last day on Sunday, August 10th. The quarry was scheduled to be open for 79 total days, and of those 79 total days, we only had to close for 7 due to inclement weather. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we were open from 12 to 7. During that time, from 5 to 7, we had our twilight hours. And then Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we were open from 12 to 6. And then as always, we opened at 11:30 for season pass holders.
All right.
New this year, we offered 3 different periods to sell season passes. So early bird was from January through April 30th. Our preseason was the month of May, and then our regular season was right after the quarry opened. So we sold our most amount of passes during that early bird, so that January through April 30th. Go to the next one. Awesome. We sold 2,252 passes this year at the quarry, which was a revenue of $128,082. We every year survey our season pass holders, so we get lots of valuable information that we get to review and make changes for our upcoming year. So some highlights of our season pass holders: we had 90% thought the season pass was valuable, so that's really great numbers. And lots of great comments for us to look at for next year. All right, daily admissions. So our daily admissions rates this year was $10 for our residents and $15 for our non-residents. We also have toilet hours, which are shorter hours in the evening with some discounted ratings. We've had the highest attendance this year in 2025 than the last several. So we had 14,790 people attend the quarry. And we also, our revenue is right over on the right side, our highest revenue since 2022, and that was $234,000.
All right. Concession stand, our snack shack. So just your basic snacks, hot dogs, candy, chips, our famous ring pops, which are always the most popular, ice cream, pop Gatorade, so your basic simple snacks, and we generated over $73,000 just from our concession stand alone, so that was awesome. Rentals, so there's a couple options for rentals at the quarry. You can do after-hour rentals, which are Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays for 90 minutes, up to 50 guests, or you can do a deck rental. And those are just during our regular operating hours for 3 hours at a time. And both of those did very well. We had 14 after-hour rentals and 40 total deck rentals. So those combined for a total profit of $11,280, which is up from the previous year. Group admission. So we always have groups that come and attend the quarry, whether it be park districts, birthday parties, our ever so famous Groupons that we, daycares. So there's a list of some of the organizations who visited us this summer, and our group admissions revenue totaled $19,706, which is another very nice number for us.
All right. Looking forward at some of our upcoming special events, we will be bringing back the Christmas in July event as a fan favorite. There will be holiday tunes, there will be a photo op with Santa, and a cheerful Christmas craft. So please don't miss it. It is Friday, July 17th. Something new that we want to introduce this upcoming season is a season pass holder appreciation night. This is just an opportunity for us to show our appreciation to our loyal community that gets season passes at the beginning of the season. So yeah, it's just something that we want to introduce this year to show our appreciation to our season pass holders. Personnel. This year we hired a total of 74 seasonal staff. We had 4 managers. I'd like to direct your attention to the photo in the center. From left to right we have J.P. Borman, Aiden Rydell, Brady Nienowski, and Noah Johnson. We were fortunate enough this year to send 3 of the 4 of our managers to the IDC instructor training with Starguard. For those of you who don't know, this is a very intensive, it's a weekend-long training. This is where we send our managers to get trained to be instructors. From here, they have the skills and the capabilities to teach our lifeguards at a high level. And I always say it's like a snowball effect. We have very hardworking and intellectual managers and instructors. They can take those skills and knowledges and teach them to our lifeguards. Our lifeguards then can have a higher performance. A higher performance with the lifeguards just makes a safer facility. And with any aquatics facility, I believe safety is always top priority. Then moving down, we have our 3 assistant managers. We have 47 lifeguards. We had 2 head cashiers. The picture in the top right, on the left taking a knee is Oliver Hinterlong. He is one of our head cashiers. Both Oliver and Antonio Salazar were a huge help monitoring concessions, overview of admissions. You know, they were doing the trainings with their 16 admissions and concession staff, and it's always really important to, you know, they're the first faces that our patrons see, so having a very positive output with them is always a great experience. And then, as always, 2 beach maintenance attendants.
Awesome. Something I forgot to mention when I was talking about daily admissions, so in that survey that we sent out, 95% of people that filled out that survey are happy with the Corey, so I think those are really awesome numbers to share. Swim lessons, we had 145 participants in 2025. We have our littles, our babies, all the way up to about a level 4, so we're excited to keep that going for next year.
All right, Starguard Elite audits. So if you don't know, Starguard Elite conducts 3 unannounced on-site audits each season at the Corey to evaluate our lifeguards' performance, the safety, and the operations under real conditions. So we started off with both June and July doing very well, getting a 4-star overall rating. At the end of the season, we were able to end on a very high note, getting a 5-star overall rating, which gave us a 4.3-star overall rating for the entire year. Getting a 5-star rating is no small feat. You essentially have to score 5 stars across the board in every aspect or factor that we get audited in. So we are very proud of our managers, our lifeguards, and the facility as a whole for doing such a great job to achieve that well-earned 5-star. The picture on the bottom right is our crew that got the 5-star in August. Pictured in there, we have Aiden Rydell, Noah Johnson, JP Borman, and some of our assistant managers as well. And if you look above that picture, we have actually our first-year guard, Maddie Moraes. She did an excellent job this year and was recognized by Starguard Elite. She earned the Elite Lifeguard Award. That award is handed out very sparsely, so we're really proud of a new guard to get such a high-level recognition. And if you actually check out the Starguard Elite Facebook page, she was mentioned, and she has very kind words about the Batavia Park District. So it's just really awesome to see that going on within our facility.
And ironically, the timing of this presentation tonight, we received today the reimbursement from Proderma because we received such high audit rankings. So, yeah. Yes, so we just, the check is in Brent's hands right now, so it's great timing.
Love it.
2,900, correct, Brent?
Yes.
What?
There we go.
Okay, so I just want to say one last thing. So that's the final part of the rec report. But when I was a rec supervisor in Mike's position now, I hired Mike as a lifeguard, and I'm just really proud. And to see you go from a lifeguard to a manager to an aquatic supervisor. And Lori and I would just like to thank you for all your hard work this summer. And that's the rec report, and I would like to welcome Katie.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So, marketing! So marketing is more fun at the beach. It is one of the highlights of our entire marketing. It's a lot of fun. I mean, how could you not have fun when you're promoting the beach? So the marketing timeline was a little bit different this year, and Brittany did touch on it, that we decided to break up into a 3-period sales period, and this aligned with how the rest of our neighboring park districts are offering that sales period. They start with an early bird. It's kind of our normal price. And then move into a middle ground, which we had as our regular price, and then our regular season. So from January 2nd to May 23rd, in the previous years, we didn't start pass sales until the end of February. And historically, we have used the final weeks leading up to the opening as a giant push, sometimes with about half of our pass sales occurring within that week leading up. And as a marketer, person who's doing sales, and that makes me very nervous and uncomfortable. So we were looking for ways to accommodate and to increase sales earlier on, so we didn't have to wait for that final push. So that was the idea behind the sales period. So thank you very much to Brittany and to Brent for believing in the new strategy for the sales. So fun fact, you'll see there's a chart later. We had already sold more passes by the time that sales started last year than we had a month after. So we were a good 2 months ahead in sales, which ended up being very good. So the advertising process between this was the marketing for the pre-sales actually started in November because we released that in the winter fun guide. So we wanted people to start thinking. We incorporated and tied it in with gift card sales so that people could purchase gift cards through the park district and then give them to family members as gifts so that they could redeem them, hoping that you could give the gift gifts that were fun with the park district. So preseason pass sales and then party deck rentals also started in January, on January 2nd. That was new this year as well. In the past, party decks rentals had begun in April. So we opened it up a lot earlier, hoping for those people who have summer birthday parties or they're trying to plan family reunions, that they would be able to book them early. It was an initiative from Brittany and her team that we were to push deck rentals this year. And that was a big push. In previous years, we only had 2 to 3. Last year, we had about 9. This year, we had 40. So it was a very important push for us in the district, and it was very conscientious. And then day pass rentals are the final portion of our sales period, which runs usually from May to August. Really, we start pushing it the week before. Some people don't want to make commitments. We also have a trend in the area where people like to visit multiple different parks because they like to see the different facilities. So next one. So I do realize my chart is backwards and they're representing, I'm going to point over here so that you can see. These are cumulative amounts. So each one represents a week. So this is this year's sales period. And this was the previous year's sales period. So you can see that we started earlier and then we didn't have this. This right here was what we were worried about because this was half of our pass sales in 1 week. And so with our new pass sales jump, this was early bird and here was the preseason and then it went all the way up. And then these last 3 weeks are the end of season sales. And so the reason why this was so important and why I'm so glad that they listened to me, this was the first year that the week before we opened, we had temperatures in the 50s. People were not going to buy passes. And so by changing our sales strategy, we were able to accommodate and gain more pass sales earlier so that we didn't have to risk, because this was 900 passes sold in 1 week. So we took out some of that risk. And so while Brittany showed we did overall sell fewer passes, it was negligible. Like you can see, it was less than 30 passes. So we sold fewer, but if we hadn't have changed the strategy, it's a possibility we'd have sold significantly fewer passes. So very happy with the strategy that we went for. We are going to go with the same strategy again next year, just to make sure that we are being a little bit safer with our sales. So any questions with the chart?
No, it's gotta help you plan better too.
Yes.
When you know that that's how many prospective people have passes versus
Yes.
on the other.
This
one.
is terrifying.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't even plan properly for your facility, so yeah.
And so I felt much better with that. And so we, this year, because we had a longer sales period, really wanted to make sure that we got the messaging out for Hall Quarry Beach in a variety of spaces. I mean, it's really fun to advertise for the beach anyway, but it was present on our fun guides, which are super fun. So it was present in the winter, spring, and summer fun guides, multiple Batavians. We had banners. Thank you once again to the trades team for hanging up the banners everywhere. Yard signs. Again this year, which if you back up Allison for 1 second, we send out a renewal reminder postcard to people who have purchased their passes in the past. And that's what this is. So this is the week that the postcard went off, and then the next week it spiked. So we always see a huge increase in pass sales for a very low. So the ROI is huge with that postcard. So it's under $300 to spike a lot of passes. And then obviously on social media, and on Facebook. Thank you to Lindsay. This year we were working with streamlining and making sure that we had a series of social media posts that were based on selling and telling
We were trying to evoke a feeling of nostalgia as well as a little FOMO to get there and have fun. So kudos to Lindsay for all the great work that she did on that as well. So along with this, we also had a series of targeted emails that were based on a schedule for both renewals and non-renewals. So there was general, all district, as well as reminder renewals. And the reminder renewal went back for 4 years. This year we extended it from 2 years that we previously went back 2 years, and this year we went back 4 years, thinking that some people, with the weather being different last year, weren't into it. So next one. So the community engagement, our department was very active in supporting the needs of the quarry and then also promoting the quarry at a lot of different events this summer. So we did host Customer Appreciation Night at Hall Quarry Beach this summer. That is something that Brent and I were the leads of the customer service committee for the Park District, and we decided that we wanted to pull people into the quarry at the beginning of the season and give it to them for free to try it. Try it, you'll like it. We did a great job. I think, Brittany, you told me there were almost 250 something people showed up that night for a twilight, which is abnormal. We like to believe that there is returning customers and there's value for people to come see at the beginning of the year. All of our summer event prizes that we gave out this year contained passes to Hall Quarry Beach. Once again, once people go there, they're going to fall in love with it. And sometimes it's just about receiving that pass for people to go. So then that's in our prizes. Donation baskets are very popular. All of the social groups, all of the PTAs, they're like, can we get our basket? And this year, with help from the rest of the members of the marketing department, we actually had towels and sand pails. So it was an experience basket that we ended up giving to people. And then volunteer appreciation. Thank you to Brittany and Lynn. We hosted the volunteer appreciation event. And one of the prizes to the volunteers was that we gave them the 2 free day passes, because volunteers rock and they need to cool off for being so cool. And then we were also promoted the quarry at all of the summer events this summer. So we had our A-frames out, we had our banners out, we had our yard signs out. So I feel like the entire community really got that feel for the quarry this year. So on to the most interesting is our Groupon. So this year, Brent and I worked together on the Groupon measurements, and we kept with our beach admission for 2 and our beach admission for 4. We added the 3-hour deck rental with admission for 4, which is something we added last year, which was hugely popular. We got more, went from 0 to 9. And then this year, because our customers asked for it, we added in the 3-hour party deck rental with admission up to 10. Because we realized that when people were doing the 3-hour, they were doing their deck rental and we only had 4, that wasn't enough people.
Right.
And so when we were asking them, they were like, well, we want more. And I was like, well, you buy more. And they did. So
Otherwise they have to buy this ticket separately.
Yes. And so we really wanted them to do the deck rental. And I don't know if Brittany and them wanted it to do that well, but we're really excited with how well it went. So we are
How much did
planning.
that go for?
The what one?
How much was that?
I believe I don't remember off the top of my head.
125?
No, the
group
It was one.
Oh, the group on.
150. I don't remember the price. I can look it up for you after. I'll give you the answer after the meeting. She could ask me the question. I don't know. So if you go to the next one for me. Oh, I didn't even put the total amount in there, sorry. So, BataviaParks.org, I just want you to see what type of impact that the Hall Quarry Beach has on the overall traffic for the Park District. So, the dotted line is the overall traffic for the Park District, and the solid line is the traffic to Hall Quarry Beach. It is significantly one of our most visited pages. Like, it's 47, almost 48% of all the traffic for our website goes to Hall Quarry Beach.
Like all year.
All year, like it's
We're just dreaming about it.
just all the time. I mean, we're doing such a great job marketing, right? But it's a huge driving factor for people learning not only about Hall Quarry Beach, but going to visit the rest of our website. So the people, when the landing page, I'll just briefly, these are 48,000 people went directly to Hall Quarry Beach's webpage. They were directed there by marketing efforts via social media. We had paid advertisements through the Groupon. So they were landing there exactly. But 81,000 page views came either they went somewhere else or they started on our homepage. So they were coming to explore the Park District, and it's very important, and we're excited to see how it grows. But it's a huge leader in making sure that we're getting other people to view the rest of our programs. Okay? And as we mentioned earlier, Brittany, people love their quarry, and it's not just our season pass holders, it's in general, the public loves the quarry. I get the alerts up on my phone, and I don't dread all summer long when it's like, you have a Google review, and I'm like, yes! So we have excellent reviews, the community loves it. You can say that we had 42,000 people search for Hall Quarry Beach in Google this summer, which is a lot, which I'd like to believe they all went to our website afterwards. But we know that this block is here. So part of what we did this summer with the marketing department is that we actually changed some of the wording on our page, because Google pulls information from our page so that it will work and build this sidebar. So sometimes it's not even about the information that we have on our website, it's about the information that we provide Google to build this for traffic.
I love Google sidebar.
I know, it's amazing.
It's great.
It's amazing. And so it's a lot, I screenshot it after, it is temporarily closed right now. But excellent portions, just since I know Commissioner Tillman likes to know, mobile. The mobile, that's how they're searching and finding for us predominantly, so. Yeah, I think next class. And then finally, this is my final slide, it's about texting, which thank you so much to the rec staff. So we use the texting system for Hall Quarry Beach to give all the people who sign up for it first immediate knowledge when we're going to have a closure due to inclement weather, or if there's going to be delayed opening due to low air temperature. And I believe that it has improved our customer service because our customers are no longer showing up and it's closed, because they now know, or staff know, when it's not, they haven't even received their email yet. And so it's really opening up that stream of information. And it did grow, and then it grows, and then at the end of the season it grows off. So 264 is what we ended the season. So we'll probably start again at about 150, and then we'll pick it back up and they'll get more. So we'd like to continue doing it. So thank you to Mike, who actually sent a lot of those, and Lori. So.
Lori's favorite. Yeah.
Yes, so that's it. Any questions about, Groupon or any of those? And I will get you the number,
Are there any questions for us on the rec side?
No, every year we get these reports, and every year they're just fantastic. The little things that you do, the little changes that you do, they always work. So, kudos, it's just fantastic that, there are some big changes, I know, there's some huge things we do, but I think a lot of the successes are grown from some of these little tweaks that we make that just constantly, grow, popularity, as shown by like the pre-sales and stuff, that just as people are excited about coming to the quarry, so, wonderful job, excellent job.
That's great.
I'm really proud of staff.
Yeah, I was gonna go, but did we increase staff year over year for the quarry?
It's a good question.
a little bit.
A little, not a lot.
Because the budget went up higher, and then,
Well, we did do the increase
Yeah, I
for
thought that we-
lifeguards,
right,
so we went from $15 an hour to 17 for
okay,
starting.
so the salaries
That
itself.
would be one, and then we did overstaff from the beginning,
Yep.
because we found after the first couple of years,
Lose the people.
that there was people that didn't show up.
Yeah, attrition,
Or
for
people
sure,
that
yep.
didn't pass the training, because you hire people on the spot, and you
Mm-hmm.
really won't know if they're going to be able to do the job till they go through the Lantern training.
No, yeah, you always gotta assume there's gonna be some attrition, so you gotta hire a department.
Exactly, so we kind of planned for that,
Yep.
knowing, because, when we don't have the staff, we have to close zones. We don't wanna
Right.
close
We
zones,
don't want
because
that.
then the community gets upset if they come from a specific area and it's not open.
Right, no, that makes sense. Also, I noticed the lessons have been down, like year over year for the last several years. Is there,
I think the quarry and
It's
temperature.
cold, it turns out it's cold. And people talk about that a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's cold in June,
Right.
so our June is our least, amount of people coming. We've changed it up a little bit with how we do the days, and we'll continue to do, we do like 5 days, and then we do the next week 3 days. So no, we continue to kind of make changes, but unfortunately June and the weather this year was cold at the beginning. Yeah.
To nail it. It's just that like year over year for the last several years, it's going down significantly, the amount percentage wise. Not much we can do about the laws.
Yeah.
And that seems to be what people talk about, on
Totally.
social media, so.
And I think there's other area aquatic options.
Right,
Like
that
everything
are-
else that affect us.
It's increasing.
And they have consistent, because they're typically a pool versus us.
Right.
So I think sometimes those other options can affect our.
It's just not maybe our biggest grabby
No.
selling point, and we can just.
And I think when other, and I think when other aquatic facilities offer them year round, which we're unable to do at the quarry, they kind of stay where they're at, and is a possibility. So
Yeah, no,
we were actually just talking about that.
We were, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that what you kind of have to do is, work, we can only be so creative with marketing things, with all these other things where we kind of gotta, play the hand we're dealt with that, and just kind of, spend as much time and effort marketing that part of it when it's gonna not necessarily be the breadwinner. So,
Exactly, because at this point it's about our product, and we know that that
Right.
part of our product being solar heated isn't gonna change.
Right, so-
Yeah.
So we,
Okay.
Yeah, we did add something new to the survey this year. We surveyed concessions, our staff, and I'm gonna miss the last one, but they could rate on 5 stars, and our quarry staff got a 5-star from every single person, so. And that was a 5 too, so very happy customers.
Clean, I can't say that word, cleanliness.
Cleanliness.
Cleanliness. It was clean.
Yeah,
you know what, simple.
Well, wonderful, this is great, thank you guys. Yeah. Awesome presentation.
Awesome. All right, moving forward. Oh, boy. Item number 11 is announcements.
Ooh, that's so great.
I feel like I just saw
the other way.
Yes, but
Okay. Ready? Good evening, Batavia. Fall is rolling in and it's time to grab your favorite flannel, sip something warm, and find a little fun indoors. This season, we've got a cornucopia of STEAM-based programs to fire up those bright young minds, for ages 30 through 13. From our tiniest learners, from ages 3 to 5, we've got New Adventures Play Lab, plus preschool art, cooking, music, robotics, and even yoga. These new programs kick off at the end of October and in early November, and they're sure to be unbelievably fun for the little ones. And don't worry, grown-ups, we didn't forget you. This fall STEAM lineup includes card making, public speaking, adult cabaret, so risque, and language classes. It's your time to learn, laugh, and maybe even show off a new skill at your next dinner party. So now let's pivot to basketball. Registration for 3rd through 8th grade leagues is open, but the clock is ticking. The deadline is November 3rd, and practices begin the first week of December. With just one practice a week, it's a slam dunk for busy families. Don't let the shot clock run out. Sign up now and get ready to hoop it up this winter. Next up, First 4 Fridays are back at the Skyloft here on November 7th. Start your weekend with fresh wine and food pairings, plus cozy vibes and great company. Pre-registration is $20 or pay $25 at the door. It all runs from 5 to 7 p.m. because Fridays are better with a full glass and a little fun. And if you're thinking ahead to the holidays, let Batavia Park District help out by helping you deck your event halls. From the historic charm of Shannon Hall to the scenic sparkle of the Skyloft at the Callahan Community Center, we've got rental spaces for every kind of gathering, for parties, for meetings, and everything in between. Check out all the options at bataviaparks.org. And that's a wrap for tonight's announcements. Stay cozy, flip through your fun guide, and if you no longer have it, it's on the website, bataviaparks.org. in case you misplaced your printed copy, and find your next great Park District adventure. And as always, play your way, Batavia.
Thank you.
Today.
It's so exciting. Staff reports, which means we start with Brent. Right after.
That's part of the meeting.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for what he is
Yeah.
back, he's way over there.
I know. So, I mean, you're ready too. It's okay.
Yeah, the finance team is expanding for sure.
So we're in the middle of budget season. We've had a lot of department meetings over the past couple of weeks, and we're looking forward to our upcoming capital retreat next week to go over our capital plan for next year and over the next few years, really. So we're also, since we've wrapped up the Park Island expansion and renovation project, we have the OSLED grant attached to that project. So with that project closing now, we can prepare and submit the final reimbursement request for the remaining $300,000 of the OSLED grant for that project. So I've had some communication with IDNR, and we have 30 days after the end of the agreement, which expires on October 31st, to submit that final reimbursement request. So there's some paperwork to pull together, and then we can get that over to IDNR. Some good news on that is that IDNR actually no longer requires an agreed upon procedures report with an external auditing firm for the OSLED grant. So we don't have to go through that administrative step for that request, but it does still exist on the park grant request. So that I've already started working on with Director Wyant, and we have that documentation together, but that'll come once the Callahan project is fully closed out. And then our bond issuances are due coming up on November 1st here. So at the end of last year, it was kind of a unique bond issuance where we do our annual rollover bonds to help fund our capital projects. So this bond issuance was actually split between two banks because they both essentially bid at the same interest rate. So there were really two tied low bidders for the bond. So that those bond payments will be repaid principal plus interest next week at the November 1st due date. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Josh?
Yeah, felt like I just did this a few days ago. So we're just real quick for this building, Callahan Center. We are hopefully wrapping up the final punch list items this week, early next week, and we'll hopefully get a final inspection next week so we can start to get the closeout, permit closeout on this building as well, hopefully. So some as-built reviews and documentation to be done with the city yet, but they're working on that as well. So hopefully within the next week or so we can have some closure on this building as well. And then staying true to the ADA compliance, we're patching Port in Place at the Riverwalk Playgrounds and Inkstrom. You know, the kids like to pick just like they did out South Mill Creek, right? So we had to do a little maintenance on that in hopes of maybe turfing those in the future too, to get rid of that problem. So.
We're looking forward to having the CDP retreat with the park board so we can further discuss more about the future of replacing Port in Place. If it's going to be with synthetic turf or colored turf, kind of what your thoughts and ideas are.
Yep.
All right, Kim?
All right, quick update on the playground safety mulch. It was mentioned earlier. As I mentioned in the board report that the contractor was supposed to start. He did begin on Tuesday, was able to get finished this last week and spread 668 cubic yards at 18 different playgrounds. So we are up to date, ADA wise anyway, so those are looking good. And then the bridge, the pedestrian bridge project, the ramp that's going on over there, just want to make an announcement that we will be needing to close the river level trail and the pedestrian bridge starting October 27th until the 31st. So it will be closed all week next week for some project that's going on. So and that's all I have.
Thanks, Kim.
21st. So we'll be having some staff meetings. We'll do 4 open house, like staff meetings to go over the changes. We'll be adding another option for healthcare, a high deductible with a health savings plan. So we're gonna try that again. We tried it a couple years ago. We'll see if this year any employees enroll in it. So we'll be doing those meetings, and then really PDERMA, we're doing the risk management review, which is, it's new this time around with best management practices. They changed a lot of things up. They're gathering all documents we use internally and then doing a review system. So I've been working with the other departments just to make sure we're up to par, and we'll submit all that by November 15th and hopefully get the last rebate of the year once we meet that.
Thanks, Lynn. All right, heading over to this side. Let's start with Katie.
Not last. So excited. So we have officially received the new website, and the marketing staff is busy putting all the new content on the pages. It's fun. We're done with our old one. We just want the new one, but we do still have a lot of work left to go. Really, the process of going through all the content, updating all the information, and then also going to give a kudos to our sponsorship, community engagement manager, Carolyn Potosnak. We just are finishing up our year for sponsorship, and this year we had a record of 75 district sponsors. That's up from previous years. So we think we had 64 last year, so we had 75 sponsors. This year, over the past couple of months, we have been reaching out to all of our different sponsors, and both the ones who sponsored with us and those who did not sponsor with us. And we were mostly interested in the ones who did not choose to sponsor with us, to receive some feedback on the types of sponsorship opportunities and what they were looking for to participate with the district. And because of those discussions, Carolyn and I have come up with some new opportunities and branched out, and really some out-of-the-box opportunities for some of the smaller local businesses to be able to participate and support district programs. Majority of our local businesses were running into staffing issues, and so they were looking for more ways for them to be present on site without having to have staff. So we have been redoing the entire sponsorship packet, adding in those new opportunities, changing some of the pricing structure based on once we've got a better feel for some of the businesses in the area. And that packet should be ready in November to be sent out to all of our existing sponsors, and then also to be recruiting some of the new ones. Thank you very much to the recreation team for some of the open dialogue with what they needed. And some of the costs associated with it, so that we were able to come up with some better solutions so that we'll have better engagement with the local businesses. Yep.
Thanks, Katie. Brittany.
Awesome. I would like to publicly congratulate Nathaniel Jarrett as our athletic supervisor. He fulfilled his requirements for his certified youth sports administrator. So at the district, I want to thank Allison especially. We value training and education, and he's able to bring a lot of information back to the rec team that we're excited to share with our littles that are in our sports. And I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, I had that circled. I was gonna call that out too.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yes.
Also, thank you for putting that in.
Yeah, you got a shout out.
Yeah, I got a shout out. I met somebody came up and introduced themselves at the Pines by the Pond. Lovely person. We sat on a bench and talked for a while. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
That's it for me.
Great, thanks, Britt.
Yeah.
All right. Executive Director's Report.
All right. Oh, that's right, I'm in charge of my own destiny here.
Yeah, you're in control.
All right, the water harvesting at the Depot Pond. The public will be happy to know that, there's a mood lighting. The Park District has contracted with Eco Waterway Services out of Wisconsin to conduct water harvesting at the Depot Pond. So they will spend 5 full days at our Depot Pond, and what they're going to be doing is hand extracting the plants and uprooting the plant system, including the weeds. So lily pads, the good and the bad, and the weeds, and they're going to be disposing them offsite. So Kim is gonna be working with them on disposal methods. But for 5 full days, they're gonna be working the entire perimeter of our depot pond to make sure it's aesthetically clean of the algae and the weeds that you see. So
Step one in the long-term plan,
step one in a long-term plan.
make it look nice.
Exactly. So water harvesting is one way to call it. Another way to coin it is water raking. It's really one and the same. Water raking is more of a slang term for harvesting. So we are going to be, based on Scott Schotter's recommendations, we are going to be budgeting again next year for water harvesting. So we're going to do it this year for starters, and then hopefully in the spring we won't see as much green at the top, and then even though some of it is healthy, and then we're going to water harvest again, and we're also looking to budget for 2 fountains for next year. And the fountains will help with the
When did you say that that's gonna happen?
This will happen, it's either going to be Friday of this week or the beginning of next week.
Have we made some kind of social media post about this yet?
I
People will be thrilled.
Or
Or
I
can we just
saw
wait?
it.
People,
Actually
people
saw
will, people will.
People will know and then it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz has already been in close contact with
Yeah.
quite a few people that have already emailed me about the future of,
And you're like, it's
probably the same
not
people have emailed you guys. Yep, about the future of this. We also, Katie and I spoke about getting a hold of the HOA for the condos right
That's a
here.
good idea.
And then that way we can just get in their newsletter and get ahead of it and be proactive and let everybody know what to expect, when to
I
expect.
think they also would like to hear, I mean, they took a lot of time and effort to give the feedback at the meeting and things like that. They have very valid feedback, and I think that, you know, showing that would be, you know, proactive in some of that, and they would probably like that.
I think it'll go a long way.
I think so too, absolutely.
Yep, and then the 2 fountains is gonna be kind of phase 2.
Yeah, great. I like
With the
that.
aeration, and then Josh is working on that. The biggest part there is gonna be the infrastructure and drilling into the depot pond wall. As we know, the wall isn't the most sturdy, but,
You have to have that presentation.
so we are gonna have to figure out a way to get to the mechanical pump house, to bring the fountains, you know, from point A to point B. But, so we're working on getting a quote for that. And then, the 2 fountains, we already have a company, which is offered very low pricing that has, the lighting kit that will go with it. In addition to, they will install and uninstall at the end of the season and store it for us all winter.
Do we
Was
know?
this information released already? Because I saw it on social media. Yesterday.
We've spoken about it.
Yeah, we talked about it, but we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact,
There was a letter, yeah, and I looked for it again today and I couldn't find it.
A letter from.
It was from some, I can tell you, I'll show it with you later. But
yeah, because I think that a lot of times when we're answering people that are emailing and we're telling them what our plan is, then I think people tend,
Especially if it's good news.
right, good news travels as fast. I wish it traveled as fast as bad news.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But I think the word is getting out that we are being proactive, we are working on it, and we certainly do appreciate those of you viewing at home that, you know, have expressed support for what we're trying to do.
You guys worked really fast on some of these
Yeah.
ideas, because we just recently had presentations on this, so
It was just
congratulations
last
to
month.
everybody to take it all very seriously and very quickly, so.
Thank you, we
When
appreciate that.
When we when we start with the fountains, I imagine there's gonna be a contract, will we have that for like 3 years or some renewal? How will we do that to make sure it keeps going? Because I wanna make sure that it works before we commit long term, you know what I'm saying? So just keeping in mind that, you know, let's make sure.
Trial.
Well, let's make sure it
Like
works.
a 1-year contract before we sign a 20-year contract?
Exactly, I mean, because a lot of times our contracts are 3 years, right?
Right.
And with the renewal, whatever, but I'm thinking maybe,
We'll
yes,
see how
let's
it
do
goes.
the renewal sooner, like the option like sooner, so that we can say, okay, 1 year with an option then for 2 or whatever.
So the good news is we haven't signed anything yet.
No, I know,
But
I'm saying when we put it together, we
Yeah.
haven't done anything like that, but I'm saying when we put it together, let's rethink from what we normally do, because this is unproven, and we wanna make sure that it works,
Right,
so.
so just like port in place, we want to make sure it
We
works.
can make sure it works. You can't wait 15 years.
Can I ask a quick question about the water harvesting? Do we know like how many people are on the team that are actually gonna be doing harvesting for the 5 days?
Actually, we haven't been told how many people, but we have been told it's a dive team.
Oh.
And we told them it's only 3 to 3.5 feet, so be really careful.
Yeah, don't die.
Don't dive, yeah, please don't
It's
dive.
kind of
They
like,
really just need waiters.
It's just a walking.
I did tell a story about how someone on our paddle boats was stuck once, and the lifeguard who who was, you know, the paddleboat attendant said, "It's okay." And the person said, "No, I'm stuck." And the lifeguard said, "All you have to do is get up and stand up. Get out of the boat and stand up and you're gonna be okay." So, but they are gonna be wearing wetsuits and, yeah, so it's. That's
100% down there.
So I'll
Get a picture of that.
Yeah, I have no idea how many people on that team, but we'll find out soon though. Okay, very good. All right, good questions. And then I'm gonna provide a backstory to these photos, especially for Commissioner Julian. Several years ago, an old city storm sewer outfall pipe and upstream brick manhole cover just completely collapsed due to all the years of weather and just the placement of where it's at. And it caused erosion on the hillside of the Hawkeye Beach. So this is actually, if you're on the north side of the Hawkeye Beach, and you look up, you will see a very distinct, like almost like a column that just looks like it's completely eroded. You'll see trees that have fallen, and this is exactly what you'll see, but you'll see it from the very top of the hill going all the way to the very bottom of the hill. So the stormwater discharge has since been rerouted. Once the city realized what was happening, they completely rerouted everything, and then they tied it into the Union Street, Water Street underground system. So now we no longer have exposed pipes like what you see there. And the city of Batavia is actually going to be requesting a temporary construction easement, so that way we can do stabilization work on the slope between South Water Street and the Quarry Beach parking lot. Because our worst fear, we've been talking to Paderma, our risk management agency, is that people down below could be at risk of any kind of landslide, and we do not want that. And we've approached the city and asked the city for their help, and I've been working with our attorneys, they've been working with theirs, and the city has been cooperative and is willing to help us in this regard. So they've actually the city has hired V3 Construction Group to remove the remaining portions of the outfall from the slope, and they're also suggesting that V3 is suggesting to stabilize the slope, to do something called riprap stone to protect against future landslides. It's a long-term solution where riprap stone is like big boulders that heavy machinery is going to hammer into the side, almost like creating a retaining wall. But it's going to be like a staggered boulder approach into this jackhammer into the side of the slope here. And that's supposed to be better than actually having a retaining wall, because a retaining wall could also erode. So, Kim, did you want to add anything to this?
No, that was a good explanation. It'll just be really nice to have it finally safer.
I assume they're gonna clean out all that brush and dead
It'll all be
stuff.
cleaned out,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it'll all be cleaned out, but it's when if you're standing in the north parking lot looking west, is where that is. And they'll be clearing everything out, and they'll be accessing it through our parking lot, and then they'll just build it up in levels up to the top. They're gonna start at the bottom and work their way up.
Cool.
So it'll be a lot cleaner looking than that.
It's actually going to be a fascinating process. I'm curious when they do get down there, I'd actually like to see it, because they have to tie heavy machinery that's going to be facing the sky, tie it, anchor it to the very, very top of the hill up on Water Street, to jackhammer these big, massive boulders in. So I think of just the weight and just the sight to see that,
Sounds loud.
Actually, that's a great point. We should let the neighbors know.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Katie.
Don't put anyone at a Prairie Lake Park right there.
But we are grateful to have this. This has been something that once we discovered it was happening, Kim and Alex and Josh, they brought me here and we said, oh my gosh, we need to rectify this. We need to figure out where this is coming from. The city said that they knew exactly where it was coming from, and immediately once the problem was found, they wanted to remedy it with us. So help is on the way. And it's gonna happen this year. So because we didn't get the actual easement papers in time for this board meeting, I will email the park board the temporary construction easement papers, and that week I'll conduct an email vote, and you can email, just reply to me, don't reply to all because we don't want to violate the Open Meetings Act. And I'll be happy to ratify the vote at the next park board meeting. And here you go, this is a familiar site if you're down at the Clark Island area. So what we're looking at is the entrance pillars to the Clark Island area. They are not considered historic, Josh and I learned that today, and they're not considered part of the historic districts, which is in our favor. And so Josh and I have been having discussions with the city, because if you notice they are leaning, and they're only getting worse with the leaning. And if you look really close, I wish I could zoom on this, you would see that the limestone is actually cracking. So the integrity of the structure is no longer sound. And so we would like to safely level the columns so that it's a part of the retaining wall. So it still creates an attractive appearance that's so Batavia, keep that Batavia look and feel.
We do like limestone.
Yeah, we sure do. Yep.
How do you do that?
That's to me to turn.
We imagine it being like a dentist where, you want to mud jacking.
Fill in something underneath?
Yeah, we'll have to probably mud jack underneath to level it, and probably take it at the first, horizontal,
The
spot.
leaves.
Yeah, we'll
And
probably
brush it there.
just take it straight off from there,
Oh.
and put a nice cap on it,
Yeah.
instead of having those towers
Mhm.
going up. So, they're already too far gone to
Mhm.
repair, I think, so.
So we want to preserve the site's character and balance it with the aesthetics and safety. And we're hoping that we can do that. And we're going to reach out for professional help if we can't do it ourselves in-house. But we're going to try the professional help in-house first. Then we're going to go
My
straight
first
out.
job in this
Give it a
team.
shot.
That's right. Last month I showed you the before photo of Fiddler Farm. I showed you this. And this was when our facilities and trades crew, this was right before they did power washing and trim repair. And so that was last month. We were telling you how we were going to do power washing, trim repair, and give it a fresh coat of paint. And this was all done in-house. We did save a lot of money using our own in-house talent. And after,
Oh,
It's so bright.
wow.
voila!
Oh,
So what a stark contrast.
Those white
Wow,
ones.
look at those clouds even.
I don't think they did that part.
Yeah.
They didn't paint the cloud.
So this barn really makes a beautiful
Yeah,
backdrop
it does.
to the Fiddler Farm playground and serves as a unique landmark into the subdivision for Savannah. So when people are turning in, it really pops.
Mhm.
And then here's another vantage point of the barn to show you.
Oh.
Nice.
So we wanted to make sure that the full panoramic view was,
Painted one side.
yeah.
Smart.
Right. So speaking of landmarks, now this one we did not, another barn that we only own two, is the South Mill Creek barn. So while it doesn't look pristine like this, we haven't added a fresh coat of paint to it. But we had other issues that going on with this. I wanted to share those with you, so I'm going to show you a before picture. So this barn at South Mill Creek is the entrance to the South Mill Creek subdivision. So the developer, Dean, who was the developer for all of the Mill Creek subdivision, sold this barn to the Park District for just $1. And as you know, no gift is ever free or ever $1. So we've invested a lot in this particular barn.
It's your whole barn.
Yep. So the structure leaning up against the barn is actually called a lean-to. And so the lean-to is really a simple, open-sided shelter, man-made, and with that single, what used to be roof, half roof, leaning up against the building. And the windstorms have certainly taken its toll on this structure. So as a staff, we agreed it was time to let it go. And here you go, here's the after. So the lean-to is no longer an eyesore, and what a huge difference it makes.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Much cleaner.
Yep. And really, you know, this had outlived its
Right.
whole purpose, so we didn't need anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it is hard to show you the pristine
I know, yeah.
So good. And next up, it's time to give a shout out to the recreation team. So, from toddlers to teens to lifelong learners, our recreation team really delivers programming that's open to all generations. And that's something we're really proud of, as you know, and the park board has been very supportive of that. We want to make sure we don't leave out any age gaps. So, so we like to say if you're raising a little Picasso, or if you're looking to be an aspiring keynote speaker someday, or maybe you're a diehard Swiftie, we've got something for everyone. And huge thanks to our incredible recreation team. I know that we have some in the audience tonight, so I wanted you to hear it firsthand, for always doing your best to be inspired, staying active, and really involved in the community. You really have your finger on the pulse of the community, and it shows.
Thank you.
And then also with special events, because that's like a whole other category in and of itself, from the coordination of volunteers, and preparing for all the unpredictability of the Midwest weather, our staff gathers a lot of post-event feedback. And they're constantly making improvements, just like we saw with Hawkeye Beach tonight, making improvements for each season. They know every little detail matters. So here we've got S'mores and More. We just hosted that event. We're looking for ways to tweak it next year. First Pour Fridays takes place in this room, and it gives people an opportunity to taste test the best wine of the Tri-Cities, while mingling and getting to know singles, getting to know one another, couples meeting up. In the far right-hand corner, you'll see we had a Halloween event. Our staff were the judges for that, and then online through Facebook, people were able to vote. And thanks to Lindsay and was it Zach that was the head of that event. Be interesting to see the web stats on that, but we had a significant amount of people voting on their favorites. So you get the fan favorite, People's Choice on the upper right hand corner. Pints by the Pond, we just had, Batavia Main Street had announced that they're no longer doing the block party. So this opens up an opportunity for us not to host a block party, but to move Pints by the Pond, the date a little bit closer to Labor Day, and a little bit further away from Oktoberfest, because we tend to lose a lot of the breweries the closer we get to Oktoberfest. So, but we are looking now that we know that the block party is going to be no longer. That really opens a lot of doors for us with events.
I wonder if that was based on some kind of survey result, because block party's well attended.
It is, I think, finding volunteers during that weekend is really tough for Main Street. And then did you have any other feedback from Main Street on
Yeah, I
that?
think there was, it's with their vendors and businesses downtown, they said some of the expenses is a lot for them, so, yeah.
And so really we're constantly going back to the grindstone and looking at the survey results, interpreting them, and trying to find ways to make events even better for the next year. And then the former Mayor's Breakfast has evolved into the State of the Community event. I want to say State of the Community address, like State of the Union.
Yeah.
So this is hosted by the Batavia Chamber of Commerce. It'll be at the Homestead on November 9th, or November 6th, my bad. And I'm honored to join Mayor Shelkey, Superintendent Tom Kim, and the Library Director Josephine Tucci, and highlighting the Park District's milestones and upcoming projects and events that will be shaping the future next year. We'll be able to talk about our strategic master plan, our new website, celebrate the opening of the Callahan Center, Community Center, and Clark Islands. And that's a wrap.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. I will run through the lights so you have that time.
And then our eyes adjust.
Yeah.
Off the lights again.
Yeah.
Bright light. All right, we are on new business 15A, which is approval of the Batavia Park District Americans with Disabilities Act transition plan. So, entertain a motion to approve the Batavia Park District Americans with Disabilities Act transition plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Larson. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Truon.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. Awesome. Then 15B is approval of the resolution 314, a resolution authorizing the accumulation of funds for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Park District ADA compliance plan. So, entertain a motion to approve resolution 314, a resolution authorizing the accumulation of funds for compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Park District's ADA compliance plan.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Larson. Please call the roll.
Bell.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Truon.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye, motion carries. We do not have executive session. We do not have any other business to come before the board. So, entertain a motion to adjourn from our regular board meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Bell, second by Larson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:31
Pretty good.
by that clock
Pretty good.
and 8:31 by that clock.